Today's video is about arm depth in the driver swing, and we're going to take a look at one key parameter that could have you hitting it longer and straighter. So when we talk about arm depth in the backswing, and these are the two good angles to use, it's down the line and even an above camera angle if you can get it, which is difficult to come by obviously. But when we talk about arm depth, we want to also look at this lead shoulder abduction angle. And that's just in layman's terms, that's your upper left arm, your upper lead arm relative to your spine. It's that angle created between those two. And if you just put your arm out in front of your chest, straight out, it'd be 90 degrees to your spine. Then we'll look at it from there. So our golfer starts right around 73 degrees. And when we look at arm depth, we have to consider that angle because that's where a lot of golfers get in trouble. So as you can see, our pro golfer here is taking the club up. So he's not just turning, he's getting the club pitched up. And I think that's the point. That's where a lot of golfers get in trouble, is they don't pitch the club up. The arms aren't lifting the club enough. And there is a definite up component in the backswing. We see a lot of golfers that turn too much without enough lift, and the club gets really off track, really deep behind them. So they get the deep hands, they just get it very early in the backswing. And you can see here the club pitches up right through the hands. And that's kind of the golden spot if you want to play really neutral golf shots, is getting this club pitched up right through the hands as you're rotating in the backswing. And we can see his lead shoulder abduction angle actually increases some. So he's not moving that upper left arm deeper across his chest. He's essentially keeping that relationship that he started with at address. So as he gets near the top, now we can see the hands. So kind of this left arm parallel is a really good place to look at. And we want to focus on the area, the kind of the zone, we'll call it, between the front of his toes and the rear of his heels. And that's where we're going to look at this lead arm depth dilemma for a lot of golfers and how it coincides with this abduction shoulder angle. So we can see now that the hands are inside the feet. And this is about as deep as a lot of golfers get. The reason being, it goes back to this earlier spot, is that the hands and arms get too in on the backswing, early backswing, then they're forced to lift late in the backswing. When you lift late in the backswing, that's almost always going to give you a really steep or shallow, relative to this video, a shallow lead arm depth. So golfer takes it up. Now he's getting back here to his ankle and his heel. And we're going to see a really common theme with a lot of really great ball strikers is they get those hands kind of back to where that ankle, or if you have a lower left arm, then it's going to be deeper, maybe right around the heels or just outside the heel line. And that's a really good place to play golf from. The reason being, it takes very little shift to get back on plane in the downswing. The less shallow your hands are at the top, the more shift you have to do in the downswing. And again, we're dealing with less than a quarter of a second. The more things you have to do, the more difficult it is to start repeating those things. So let's take a look at what that shoulder angle, that lead arm shoulder abduction angle did in this backswing. So as again, he increased it and he's pretty much where he started at right here. Now we can see it start to decrease. But what we see many club golfers do is get this number really small. That can be in the 30 degree range. And you can see most pros here keep it around the 60 degree range. So really half that. That's what we see with amateur golfers. Now what that means for you is you're really getting that upper left arm, and in many cases the elbow too, pinned across your chest at the top of the golf swing. The reason that's not a great thing to do is because once the downswing starts, the body starts turning. Well, that's ideal. We want the body to start turning. So if that upper left arm is pinned really deep across the chest, as soon as you start turning, those hands, club, everything are going out and over. You don't have much say in it at that point. So we have to create a space like this pro here. And you can see he's got a space there between his chest and his left arm. So when he starts the downswing, you'll see this number actually decrease a little bit. And that's his ability to turn. That rotation that happens to start the downswing, he has to have space to turn. And you can see his arms are coming down. His hand is coming down. It's not going out. That's because he kept the space there and kept that lead arm around that 60 degree kind of benchmark. Then the left arm really starts to move off the chest now as the body's turning. So there is no connection with the upper chest. It's a feel for some players, but it just doesn't happen. You can see this left arm is moving and moving and moving off the chest. This is where he started. So we're going to go way past that when we get down to the ball. So there's a lot of speed in that move. The chest turns very slow. If we keep that left arm pinned to the chest, it's going to really negatively affect our downswing plane unless you have to add a lot of tilt, which again is going to affect rotation. Or we keep a space there like the pros do, so we have something to turn into without it sending this club off to the wrong path, literally. So when we look at arm depth, we want the arms to get ideally somewhere around midfoot to ankle to heel at the top of the backswing, while maintaining the gap between that left arm and chest. If we can do those two things, we're going to have a fantastically great starting point for the downswing. Thanks again for watching. Let us know in the comment section down below if you have any questions or comments about the arm depth in the backswing or about that shoulder abduction angle. Love to help you guys out, clarify anything further that we can. Also, if you haven't done so, please click on the big golf ball right here beside me. You'll get notifications just as soon as we release new videos. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.